So this episode... Oh god, how... Alright, so I'm gonna summarize this really quickly. So, like, freaking... Crap, I'm drawing a blank. Fuck, what was his name?
What, this Digimon?
No, the Angoramon, yeah. I don't know why I couldn't think of it, yeah. Angoramon just hears about, like, an evil sword going around possessing people, and he runs into a Digimon that has an evil sword that's possessing people, and it, like, just latches onto his arm, like, you know, they disappear and he, like, grabs the sword and they can't let go of it, and the sword tries to possess him. It turns out it's Musayamon, so another sword Digimon shows up and gives him his sword so he can fight it, and he kills it. And that's the episode. Also, they absorb a bit of data from Gamamon and it lets them regain their full body, because Musayamon somehow fused with his sword and needed the data to return to his original form. What was that, like 5 minutes?
Also, when he says he kills it, he means the sword, not Musayamon.
Yes, he kills the sword. So it's like it until the last 10 minutes. Interesting.
I mean, this, once again, this seemed like a really good episode for Angoramon to get his ultimate, but eh.
Yeah, this is another case of, like, they should have had Digivolution, and they just didn't, and it's like, okay, well, I guess this is what we get. I guess this is what we have to work with.
I mean, I don't know. I like this episode. It's doing the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. It's Anubis. Like the sword is Anubis.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, and we start the episode and it's like a Goblimon running around with it instead of his club.
Yeah.
And then, like, he fights a Hanuman, and the Hanuman ends up taking possession of the sword.
So I don't know which name you'll want to use. I do want to mention, in English, this thing's name is just straight up Apemon.
Yeah.
Just straight up Apemon. So the fact that Angoramon got free because of Gaomon's stuff was mid. Would have been better if he broke free himself. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, this is... I don't know, this is a fine episode. Like, it's cool that Zubamon finally shows up and we finally get his appearance. Like, let's just, like, you know, just bring the boy out here. But yeah, I do like that the Legend Arms Digimon are finally getting a bit of play. I'm sure it has nothing to do with the fact that this specific Digimon is getting a Vital Bracelet dim card soon this year.
Is he?
Yeah, I'm sure it has nothing to do with the fact that that's, like, coming out, but fair enough.
Yeah. I thought this was going to be worse because I thought Zubamon was going to show up and fight Musayamon instead.
Oh no. So I should mention, this thing is a rookie.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no way.
But yeah, I thought Zubamon was going to show up and fight it. And it's like, oh, well, I guess Angoramon doesn't get his moment. But Zubamon's just like, I'll turn into a sword so you could fight him. And it's like, okay, that's fine. Because basically Angoramon was reading like a book about samurai, and it got him interested in it. And so he gets to, like, do, like, his samurai thing.
Yeah, I do like they at least gets a samurai moment. Like, he gets to quote the thing, and it's like, yeah, you know, that's just a fun little, like, detail, right? Yeah, that's just fun.
I was kind of hoping the fight would be more than just they jump at each other and a single strike decides it.
Yeah.
I thought it would have been cool to see Simba and Goramon like actually fighting with a sword.
Yeah, no, we just get the samurai moment.
Yeah.
Man. And I feel like that's the thing. It's like, This episode, I feel nothing from it. But I do appreciate that we are getting the Legend Arms Digimon finally. Like, Zubamon, I forget what the R ones. It's like, friggin', let me look up real quick.
I liked the episode up until the point where the very end of the episode happened. Because apparently the note the hero sent his dad was, "Hey, how do we deal with Digimon that are too much to handle?" And his response is, "I don't know, lol."
Yeah, there's an entire thing where it's like, hero says dad a letter, and we wait like several weeks to be like, okay, finally, plot's gonna happen. And the letter comes back and it's a troll. It's nothing. It's a gag.
Yeah. Maybe not even like plot specifically, but it's like, I don't know, maybe we get something meaningful back from Hero's dad who's in the digital world this whole time, and it's like, no, he just gives a response that he doesn't know how to deal with really strong Digimon, and it's like, oh, I'm glad that went literally nowhere.
Yeah, I do want to mention, we at least learned one thing, which is that he writes it on a freaking leaf with a Sharpie. So it seems like the digital world does not have paper.
Or he didn't have any available.
Yeah. I was expecting Lucha because of the animation being standard, so that's fine. Think that showing new one once a month for the Ultimates May equals Canon Weissmon, June equals Jellymon, Evo, July equals Angormon. 3 of the ending was trash, was the question Hero asked. Yeah, that's...
Yeah, that's also a problem. It's like, of all the things he could have asked, like, the answer's obvious. If a Digimon is too much to handle, like, or it's like, I interpret that as him being like, oh, we can't talk it down. It's like, you have to kill it. You gotta kill it, Hero.
Alright, so I just looked up the name of the other Digimon I was thinking of was Ludomon.
Oh.
Yeah, because Zubamon's a sword, and then Ludomon is the shield.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and they all have their own, like, individual, like, evolution lines. Like, Zubamon pretty much does what you expect. It becomes a big, like, humanoid knight with, like, sword limbs and stuff. Ludomon becomes a freaking dragon made of fire that's held together with, like, metal shield bits. It's just a flaming shield dragon. It's really neat. And yeah, they fuse together in, like, an Omnimon. Yeah.
I was gonna say, do they fuse?
Yes. They fuse together into Ragnalordmon, and if you want to look that up, it's a really cool looking Digimon. It's like a black and red Omnimon style, like, body. And it's like right arm just has like a hand that just grabs this like massive, crazy, like golden sword. And the left arm is just this like crazy, like demonic looking shield with like a wild, like, like fanged, like mouth at the end of it, like a monster mouth.
I'm sure it would be a really cool Digimon if the image was anywhere near big enough to make out any details on it. Holy crap! Why did they do this?
Yeah, it's
Stop drawing the official Digimon art as like these tiny, tiny pictures. Why?
Yeah, and the cape is just straight up like made of fire, which is a really cool detail. Because it's like, Ludomon's final form is just like a fire dragon, literally.
The dragon. Oh man. So everything looks cool until I looked at the dragon, like the dragon shield, and it's like, I don't know. There's something about the eyes that makes it look really, really goofy.
Oh man.
Like the jewels for its eyes, and then like I don't know. It looks really stupid. Everything else looks cool.
Let me just pull up an image to get a refresher on, like... Because I have to, like, look at the eye specifically and be like, okay, yeah. Because I've glanced at the card artwork and it's not that clear. Open a new tab, let's just zoom on this little... Oh, you mean, like, the gym, like, the gyms that are far up? Are those the eyes? I guess they are. I never actually realized that. Jeez.
They look like the eyes to me, and I think it looks really silly.
Yeah, I didn't like. I don't know if that's what they're supposed to be, but yeah, now you mention it, does look pretty goofy. Still, really cool Digimon. I actually do really love it a lot.
Yeah, everything else about it's really cool.
This thing's friggin' rad. Man, I don't think like it got a new release in the card game not that long ago, and the entire gimmick is that it's like it does a shitload of damage when it hits, and also like every time a security card is discarded from either player's stack, you unsuspend it and it has blocker. So it's like you do big damage, it unsuspends, and you can either like keep attacking or you can just keep it in defense mode. And then like your opponent has to like sacrifice something to try and like, get past it, hit your security, and then unsuspends again, and they have to get past it a second time if they want to keep attacking. It's a really cool way to like make the gimmick work of being like the sword and shield. But yeah, do you like all Digimon rep we're getting the most in this show though? Yeah, oh yeah, the Digimon reps are pretty on point. Key juggling plot stuff is just annoying at this point in the show. I have to accept the will to be a Nar mid to lore in series for me if the layer part isn't amazing, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I was annoyed because like I was excited at first because Black Godamon shows up and it's like, oh something important, and then it wasn't.
Yeah, so I was thinking about this, right? I feel like with the episodes that we have, we're on like episode 31, I believe. Yeah, like 31 or so. Yeah, this is 31, yeah. I feel like at the pace we're going at, you could easily like take all the plot and big like theme relevant episodes and all the stuff that's happened and condense it down to like, let's say about like 13 or 14 episodes so far. And it would be like a way better show for it, I feel like. Cause I'm just thinking it through, it's like, okay, because of course, like, you have the first episode, you have Clockmon, you have, like, all the evolution episodes, so that covers, like, like Mummymon with Balegamamon, and, like, unfortunately you have the Chromon episode, but whatever, that one's fine enough, I guess. Like, the gun form wasn't Gamamon, You have, like, Angoromon's thing, where you introduce Dracmon, who, comes back later for, like, Gamamon's ultimate. You have, like, friggin', the Jellymon thing with the money program or whatever. The, like, thing with, like, the game, like, fights for Tesla Jellymon. When did Samba Angoromon be a thing? Was it, like... Was that when they did the, like, friggin' demon Digimon or whatever? I can't remember. Yeah.
Literally Satan Digimon.
Yeah, it's hard to remember because that really wasn't a Rui episode, it feels like. But yeah, I feel like, you could basically do, like, most of those back to back and it would be, like, fine. It would work really well. Hope is that the show will just really long, I guess. Hoping for a 60 plus, but also you might need more because of the plot points answers aren't as overwhelming as this woo. But yeah, I'm thinking it's like, what would that be? That'd be like, 3 episodes for Garamon, the like 4, 5, 6 on about like 8 episodes to go all the evolutions and character introductions done. And I feel like that'd be a pretty well spent 8 episodes. Maybe you take... Yeah.
But we gotta have the gimmick of it being a really mid-horror series.
Yeah. I'm like, alright, you get the 8 evolution, like, big plot episodes out of the way. And you have, like, episode 9 or whatever is Piximon. No, wait, yeah, right, yeah, because before that, like, before Piximon, you have to have the Pokemon episode where Clockmon comes back, and that's fine. So it'd be like episode 9. Episode 10 would be like, maybe like put Piximon there for the sake of it. Just, because give some time for things to breathe or whatever. And, yeah, that does seem pretty important because he, like, time travels. Episode
Yeah.
11, you have, like, the Gulus Gamamon thing happen. You have, like, episode 12 be the, like, the big episode with, like, Flare Rizamon and, like, Dark Bergermon or whatever it's called, Saberdramon.
Saberdramon, yeah.
Yeah, because that's a big, like, thematically important episode where, you have the really good animation and stuff. And, like, maybe you have episode 13, the Arcanimon episode, where Gulu's Gamamon comes back for a bit. And it's like, okay, you could take that setup, I feel like, you wouldn't really be missing any, like, big plot details or anything. But I feel like you could take that 13 episode chunk, and you could just make that, like, one season, right? Be like Digimon Ghost Game Part 1, and that'd be, like, a solid, healthy, like, well-paced season with, like, the episodic horror mysteries that still, like, maintains a solid pace, where, like, things are consistently happening, and you end on, like, a good note of, like, mystery and everything. I feel like that would be, like, a pretty good season of Digimon. Be way more consistent than I don't think episodic focus would be that bad if they just love it more and plot stuff in them. Yeah. It's like, okay, you do that, and it's like, hey, Digimon Ghost Game, part 2, it's the second season, just starts up like episode 1, Kano Weissmon just happens. You just get that episode, it's like, oh, Dracmon's back, and, we're introducing all these new villains and stuff, and it's like, okay, yeah, that's good, like, I feel like that works really well, you have the Black Galmon mystery building up in the background, but it's not taking too long, it's not being rushed too much. It's like, oh yeah, very next episode, Tesla Jellymon, done. Sorry, not Tesla Jellymon, Thedismon, yeah, done. Like, easy. And I'm thinking through that, and it's like, I feel like with all of that, maybe, like, you would be missing out on the Digimon, like, gatherings or whatever, but you could just explain that in, like, side detail, right? That's, like, not even that important.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be a pretty safe way to, like, just repaste the series if you had to make, like, a must-watch order and, like, cut things out. And at that point, we are currently, like, 31 episodes into, like, was essentially 15 episodes worth of, like, plot and things happening. Often feels like the crew us way to passive in trying to figure. Oh, the crew is way too passive in trying to figure this stuff out. Okay, yeah. So yeah, what I'm getting at is like 50% of this show has been filler so far, it feels like.
Yeah.
And that's draining on me. It really is. It's filler, and even when we get an evolution episode, it's not necessarily a big plot episode. It's just like, oh, an evolution happened. You know what, I'll be generous and I'll say 16 episodes. Because, like, you know what? Digitamamon does show us a bit of the digital world, so screw it. I'll give Angormon his moment. Fair enough. 16 episodes out of 31 have led to, like, something of value that at least feels worthwhile. Definitely some char in this to the pacing, but they're too far and in between. Oh, yeah. That's the thing, it's like, the other 15, 16 or so episodes or whatever, I don't even necessarily dislike them. Like, a lot of them I've looked at and been like, okay, yeah, this is a good episode, or, this is fine or whatever. I just really want things to finally happen, Like, I feel like if I'd suggest this show to someone after the fact, I'd absolutely give them, like, an episode guide to be like, hey, here's how you skip all the non-stuff happening. And, if the guide is wrong, then I guess I'll just, pay for it down the road. Once again, good episodes are really good, just not some. Yeah. That's the thing, it's like, just not some of them, yeah. Like, in this episode, it's like, okay, what did we actually need for this episode to happen, right? And it's like, okay, we need Angoramon, we need Angoromon's evolution, and we need, like, arguably we need Repamon, but we actually really don't, because Zubamon just shows up out of nowhere anyways. So, as far as, like, anyone's concerned, Repamon could have just been someone Angoramon met that was, like, looking for the slasher, and it could have just been, like, a one-off, like, reference. It means nothing. Repamon does nothing this episode.
Or it could have just been Zubamon.
It could have just been Zubamon, and it probably would have strengthened the episode overall, honestly.
Yeah, the only thing we get is, like, Repamon and Goramon, possessed by the katana, goes after Repamon and tries to attack him, and he deflects him, and then Goramon comes back to his senses and leaves, and he's like, "Oh, did you sense?" He's talking to his tail, and he's like, "Did you sense that?" And he's like, "Yeah." And then
Laura's literally plopped at the last second, thus thus kind of making this a required watch. So I feel like at this point I'd argue, like, the letter means nothing for a series overall. The letter has meant nothing. It's gone nowhere. You could cut out the entire letter subplot entirely, and you would lose no information.
Yeah.
All you would lose is the knowledge that Black Galmon has a way to find Hero's dad, which I feel like, we kind of just assumed anyways. It's not actually a big deal.
Yeah.
Because, one of the first thing Black Galmon does is he just shows up and gives Hero the Valve bracelet, right? Doesn't he, give him Gamamon or something?
Gamamon shows up on his own.
Yeah. I have to rewatch the first episode at some point. I don't remember what Black Galmon does, but I know he does show up for a bit in the first episode. And it's like, oh, he has some tie to Hero's dad or whatever, and it just kind of doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah. I don't know. Black Galmon might have delivered the vital bracelet to him.
Maybe. I feel like I vaguely remember that, but I'm not sure. Yeah. Or a hologram or something.
Yeah, the Digivice. I call it a vital bracelet, but in universe, it's their Digivices.
We haven't had plot in months with that knowledge. Yeah. The last thing that I would consider being, plot would be Kana Weissmon, just straight up. Because, at least in that episode, Myosmon just, bring back a villain that was in a previous episode, and then he escapes, which implies that Myosmon is going to come back at some point. I will at least consider that to be plot, I feel like. I think that's fair enough.
Yeah, but it could also, the letter, go absolutely nowhere.
We could just tell an episode where Myosmon just shows up for a second and then he immediately gets killed by something else and the kids don't even learn about it. So it's just like, oh, I guess Myosmon just went home or whatever and he never did anything again. Oh man, this effing show, holy crap. So it's like, if we take Myosmon off the table, because that could go nowhere, when's the last time something has happened that we've actually known would be important to the plot?
I mean, we thought the letter Hero was writing to his dad was going to be important to the plot.
Cav also and Digimon have been going into the human world for a while with the running of a company unless he took it over. Yeah. I feel like the last thing would be the Flare Rizamon episode, right? Because, even though it's not a lot, Black Galmon does open a portal, and it's they do mention that, a portal just appeared and sucked them out, and they talk about, oh yeah, Digimon just don't belong in this world or where the heck. And it's and I feel like even that's kind of tenuous, but at least it's something. I feel like you could make a pretty reasonable argument that the last, actual, thing that happened that we knew was, for sure important was the, like, Gulu's Gamamon murders Arukenimon, and then you see a shadowy black Gargamon just in the background, and he's just watching them, and, you know, he doesn't say anything, and that's the last big plot point we have.
Yeah. Also,
And,
Gulu's
yeah.
Gamamon says something cryptic like it's not time yet or something.
Oh, man. Kind of also did drop been going to... Yeah, that was also a good development for Hero and Gamamon. Oh, yeah. Oh, man. I still do like this show. I still do think it's, like, a good watch. I think it's, like, worthwhile. Holy crap, the pacing is so bad. And that's the thing, it's like, I get what they're trying to do. They want this to be, like, a mystery of the week. The mysteries aren't strong enough to support it, just straight up. Like, it feels like the mysteries haven't been strong enough, and it also feels like, you know, you could very easily work more, like, plot and mystery in the background and not lose anything of value. Like, adding in more plot details would not cost the show any more budget-wise. That's the thing, it's like, it just genuinely feels like, you know, stuff is going on in the background, but, like, the people behind the show just don't have that much to, like, actually reveal. So it's like, they're just spraying it out really, really slowly. There's stuff going on, but just, yeah, it's like, the players are just running around looking for things to, like, investigate, and the DM is looking at the book, and they're just like, I have nothing to give them. They're, like, interrogating this NPC, and he has nothing to say. Yeah, it's a fun show. The mysteries just are just too hit and miss. Yeah, okay, yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. I just, like I said, I don't think we're gonna get overarching plot until like the very end because this, you know, it's very monster of the week. Like
this is went from being like a mild annoyance to something I'm like calculating the numbers on and coming up with like, you know, like internal like watch orders for. Like, this is bad. This is really bad. I feel like this is becoming like a legitimate problem, and it's just getting like worse with time. Just feel like a lot of the plot points won't be mind shattering. Yeah. It's like, we're eventually gonna learn Goose Gamamon's deal, and it's gonna be like, oh yeah, yo, I just, like, had a group of evil Digimon I ran with, and then, yo, I got my memories reset through because something hit me on the head, and now I'm just, like, you know, stuck as normal Gamamon. And that's gonna be all there is. It's gonna be the most nothing thing ever. I have so little faith.
yeah, and it's like, oh, but now I've learned the value of friendship, and now I'm a good guy, and my friends will help or whatever.
Yeah, it's an actual issue now. It'll definitely be a knock once the show's over. Yeah. And I hate that I have to say that, but I mean, this is the point we've hit. This is the point we're reaching with this.
Yeah. Just poking the series and going, do something.
Please, do an evolution or something. Please, I'm begging you. Anything. Man, I know I've said this before. It feels like watching this back to back with Frontier really isn't helping.
Yeah.
It's like, alright, we're like 30 some episodes, and meanwhile, Frontier has had like just main villains come, overstay their welcome, be dealt with, and then get replaced by other major villains.
Yeah.
It's in like half the time.
Now, this isn't to say that Frontier doesn't have its issues. As we know, it does later, but
Yeah.
at least stuff is happening.
So far, I am really liking Frontier. I feel like it's doing everything I kind of want to do. I am dreading the point where it just becomes like everyone watches the Royal Knights just screw the world over for like a month straight.
Yeah.
You might not like Frontier, but his progress, yeah, I like Frontier. And I feel like Frontier so far has been like a good Digimon series. Oh man. So do we have anything else we really want to get into or anything?
I don't think so.
Uh yeah, you Ming most fans. Oh yeah, makes sense. Oh man, so yeah, I guess go watch a Ghost Game. It's a show.
If you're not desperate to see an overarching plot that builds episode to episode in a meaningful way, and you're okay with like Monster of the Week, sure, yeah, go for it.
If you're fine with a bunch of like pretty good hit or miss episodes, they're like consistently fairly solid, and you don't care a lot about things happening, then awesome, go for it. If not, I guess like wait a year and then like people have episode guides for this. And I'll be really excited to see what people put on their episode guides when this is all over.
Yeah, I think I mentioned before that one of my problems is it's just everything just takes place in Japan.
Yeah.
We'd be in the digital world by now in any other series.
There are people who just go out of their way to like watch Naruto, and they just pull up an episode guide and they skip like all the filler, and they'll to like, you know, just finish that series in like a month or some crap. Like, it's absurd. It's absurd how much you could get through when you just cut out everything that doesn't matter.
Yeah. Heck, I'm watching Dragon Ball, which isn't as known for filler as like Z or whatever, but like there are episodes where nothing major happens, but okay, like nothing, there's no overarching major villain for a little bit, but the thing is the characters they're on a journey. They're heading to a location.
Yeah, that's
So-
that's all
so-
you really need, yeah.
Yeah, so progress is being made. And then in the episodes where there isn't like any traveling happening, it's Goku and Krillin training with Master Roshi for their tournament coming up. So they're building up to something.
I should mention most Naruto fillers kind of does add to the actual manga, but there are some really fun, dumb Naruto filler episodes that, like, I feel like are worth it just for, like, how, like, bad and stupid it is. Like, there's distinctly an episode of Naruto filler where like everyone thinks there's like an outbreak in the village, so everyone has to take shots to get vaccinated or whatever. And Naruto just like walks into the village from a place where they think the disease is coming from, and like just without any warning or explanation, people just suddenly start like ninja throwing syringes at Naruto. And he's just like, oh, well, of course, like, yo, this is like a problem, yo. Of course, everyone's being like mind controlled or something, because my friends would just chuck syringes at me without warning, right? And he has like a whole thing where he's unironically just like beating the shit out of all of his classmates because they keep trying to give him his shots. And
I don't know. I think I'd just be annoyed with that episode because it's like literally just anyone say anything to him.
It's like, it should be annoying, but it's like, it's so stupid, I just find it hilarious. Like the ramen episode from the filler hell arc. Yeah. Yeah, the effing curry of life. Yeah, that's, if nothing, alright, if you're gonna watch a Naruto filler, watch the curry of life. It's so dumb, but it's at least entertaining. That and maybe watch the arc where, that's not the arc or whatever, but it's like the episode or the 2-part or whatever, where Naruto goes on a journey to get a rhinoceros beetle so they can scent track Sasuke's headband. And it's literally like the one chance they have to track down this man who's going to be like a wanted global terrorist. And they get the beetle, and then, like, as they're getting ready to, like, sniff his headband, Naruto farts in its face, and it just tracks Naruto's ass. And they just ruined their one chance because Naruto couldn't stop farting for 5 minutes. Holy crap. Just cheese. Like, you know what? I don't care. Naruto. You know what? Screw it. Watch all the Naruto filler. Watch all the Naruto filler and either suffer or, like, have a really just dumb fun time with it. I don't care. Do what you feel like. Watch the episode where, like, Mitsuki or whatever his name is from, like, episode 1 or some crap just randomly shows up, just white-haired shuriken man, just randomly shows up with a curse mark, and he just becomes a fucking tiger for a fight. He just becomes a furry to beat Naruto into the ground. Oh, man. So yeah, I don't know, is there anything we really want to get into before we end this off?
That's about all I had.
I feel like there's... Oh yeah, there's one last thing I do want to say. It's like, I'm fine with episodic episodes, but I feel like you do have to at least have, like, some form of overarching goal, and you at least have to make it, like, entertaining week to week. I feel like, you know... These have been a bit too hit-or-miss for that or whatever, but yeah. I feel like doing commentary on the fillers seems like a good shit-talking series. Man, remember the episode where Naruto had to run track and field, but he had, like, expired milk the day before? No, it's like the morning of or whatever. So the entire time he's just waiting on the starting line to run in his ninja track and field, but he just has to take, like, a major shit. And then someone just tries to pass him the baton, and they, like, jam it up the butt, and Naruto nearly dies. Remember, Avatar's episodic, it's not an excuse. John's Naruto episodic, like, these stories and villains are what makes it so much more than Pokemon. Oh yeah, 100%. Also, sup, Roderick. Oh man, it's been a while since I've seen you, I guess. But yeah, welcome by, as we're, like, about to end things off, I guess. So I guess, yeah, nothing else to really say. So I guess see you guys around.